Buick has finally given us a refresh on the new 2025 Buick Enclave ST in ebony twilight black metallic over ebony perforated leatherette interior. We have three different trim options. They've dropped the V6. We only get a 4-cylinder turbo, but we've increased 18 horsepower, 60 pound-feet of torque. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm gonna go over some pros and cons, compare this against competition, and I'm gonna tell you the problem that I have with the new Buick. In the front, you have three different trims that you could choose from, as well as aesthetics. So the preferred will have horizontal bars. The ST will get this gloss black mesh with the ST badging, and the Avenir is going to look a lot more upscale and more luxurious because Buick is trying to get back into that segment. I know it doesn't compete against the Germans, but who it competes against? Lexus, Acura, Infiniti, Volvo, and even Genesis. What you're getting as a total package through this review, you're going to see this is kind of the sweet spot to go. Buick badging was refreshed a couple years ago. LED headlights is standard on all trims. Going Avenir, you get LED cornering lights. The lower keeps the same color as the body. Almost 7 inches of clearance, and we gain nearly 3 inches, and it's wider than the prior gen. And all trims will get the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged that's producing 328 horsepower and 326 pound-feet of torque paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. This is a front-wheel drive configuration, so you're achieving 20 mpgs for the city, 27 mpgs for the highway, 20-inch wheels. This is the ST. I wish it was all gloss black or the same color as the body. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But you can option up to a 22-inch wheel. The Avenir is going to have their own signature wheels, as well as the Preferred, and highlighting the whole side with the glossy black, as well as the roof rails. The Preferred will get a brush aluminum, and when you go into the Avenir, it's going to have more of the chrome highlights, which I feel like it's a little bit dated when they go that route. That's why I like the ST. Now, going back into competition, this is going to be right on par with towing. You're at 5,000 pounds. Infiniti will tow at 6,000, which is the best in class. Payload over 1,600 pounds, which is the best in class, as well as horsepower and torque compared to any competition except for the Germans. That's how much more Buick is bringing the competition, putting it into another level. It's almost right at that segment where it should be, but it's still lacking in the sense of going against the German rivals, which when you go this route, you're around 50 grand, 53 all in when you put all these features. You could get the Preferred for about 3 grand less. The Avenir is still gonna be under 60 grand. That's why this becomes a sweet spot. But then they've dropped the warranty. It used to be 4-year, 50,000, now it's 3-year, 36,000. And sadly, this is gonna give you more than Honda, Toyota, Ford, and GMC with total value that you're getting here. The taillights spin across the whole rear. Gloss black is going to be underneath it. Going into the Preferred, you'll get a chrome bar. The lower gets dual exhaust finishers, front and rear parking sensors, a 360-degree reverse camera. These are all options, but it's awesome that you're getting that at the value you're at, as well as you can option a digital rear view mirror. And when you go into the Avenir, you could change the suspension to adaptive damping suspension. I mean, this is crazy. And standard noise cancellation on all trims. This is a Buick. I mean, let me know your thoughts, because for me, just a hair over 50 grand, this is more than my Infiniti has, and I paid nearly $70,000. So just think about that in content, and all of the competition is going turbo 4 except for Acura as of right now. And even if you think about Mazda, you're over 60 grand to get something to the same example of this. The problem that I have is this used to be right underneath Cadillac. Now they've lowered it years ago, dropping the warranty, taking away the luxury. Now they're trying to enhance it and bring it back, but will it get to that level? Power liftgate going into 22.9 cubic feet of storage, because we have the power pack that's going to add the power seat adjustment for the second and third row, so you can just split fold them, which you'll see in a second. Underneath the floor, you get a ton of storage with an 18-inch spare tire, a 12-volt charger, and to split fold the second row, just push the levers down, holding them to increase cargo to 57.10 cubic feet. Do the same thing for those captain seats, and that's going to maximize cargo to 97.5 cubic feet. And even if you go into the Preferred, you can option this feature, which is not normal on a base tier. The key fob for the new Buick ST. You can already see the refresh with the dashboard, the steering wheel, the center cluster that's like a floating center, and 12-way power seat adjustment for the driver and passenger, heated front seats, ST badging contrast stitch. It's perforated in the interior, piping, memory for the driver. Yes, we have Super Cruise. Dashboard is going to have several layers. You have the aluminum mesh. You'll have a texture right through here with a 30-inch LCD screen. Let's fire it up. 12 speakers through Bose. The power pack adds the heads-up display and the heated wiper pack. Auto dimming rear view mirror, ambient lighting. We got the pano moonroof that goes to the second row. And you still have physical buttons, so you don't have to do everything through this touch screen. That is one thing that is awesome, because nowadays everybody is putting everything on the infotainment screen. That's not the case when you go Buick. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Google Maps, Google Play, Google Assist. My Buick, you could do podcasting, you could watch YouTube Live, 5G capabilities. I mean, the list goes on with technology. This side here is also a touchpad for the heads-up display, and you can go through an array of different content for the driver, including the full navigation. It's a wrap steering wheel, multi-function, flat bottom. I like how it comes out. It just looks more sporty. Paddle shifts. And now the gear lever is on the steering column, so it cleans up the center cluster. Like I said, it's a floating center cluster, and you can see that visually with a 12-volt charger that's tucked over here. Wireless charging pad standard, and you still get a rotary knob to turn on and off the sound system. Put it into reverse, and we got a 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory for the front and the rear, and you can change different camera layouts to make it a little bit easier for you in reversing. And a con to me, to turn on and off the lights, you have to do it here. So you still somewhat have to do everything through the infotainment screen, even though you do still have a lot of buttons throughout. You also have driving modes, tour, sport, snow and ice, all on the driver's side here, with a little storage cubby that you could put the key fob. Gloss black materials. I know when it gets older, it's not something people like. It's going to be more sporty. It opens up with a storage tray that lifts out to a deep storage pocket. As for headroom, not an issue in the Buick. The same thing with leg space. Door panel, dashboard configuring together nicely. I wish that they did this contrast stitch kind of where it connected there, and maybe added carbon fiber instead of this look throughout, but I understand it's not that expensive of a vehicle. Soft to touch where it needs to be here, one touch up and down just for the driver window, with a long storage pocket and a beverage holder carved out. To go to the second row, that's the opening that you have. Captain seats, ST badging, the same aesthetics as the front. Third climate control setting, USB ports, home plug because we have the power pack with the storage tray. Cup holders in the center, storage behind both of the front seats. Where's the air vents? You got them in the ceiling. Leg space, it's not going to be an issue. You can also move forward, and look, I still have a ton of space. But obviously, I would sit probably like this. Headroom, not going to be an issue, and these seats recline back, which I wouldn't be able to sit back there. Door panel doesn't get any sunshades. You get that aluminum mesh look. It's soft to touch where it needs to be with the satin aluminum and a medium-sized storage pocket. With a full pass-through, and these adjust for the third row. Push and hold the button. It's going to lift up, slide it forward. Look at the opening that you have. They fit 3 more with USB ports. A little storage pocket for some mints with a cup holder, air vents in the ceiling, LED interior lights coming to the back, and the same thing on both sides. We're going to move this back and attempt. And look at that. I actually fit, even though my knees are pretty much against the back seat. Headroom, though, it's really good. Sliding into the center, leg space is going to be quite tough, so just stretch it out. But leg and shoulder space, it's going to be also cramped because this bulges out more so. With the seat back, I wouldn't be able to fit back here, but headroom for the third row, doesn't matter where you sit, you're gonna be fine. The new Buick Enclave with 328 horsepower, 326 pound-feet of torque, sport touring, which is the ST. I would recommend this trim, especially at the pricing and what you're getting all around. But is the turbocharge going to be enough for the motivation? This is over 4,500 pound curb weight vehicle. Even though we're gaining horsepower by 18 and 60 pound-feet of torque, would we need a little bit more motivation for horsepower? That's what we're going to be seeing. As for the luxury inside, it captures it. I mean, we're getting 20-inch wheels. You can go up to a 22-inch wheel. The Avenir just gives you a lot more. You get ventilated front seats, heated second row seats, massage front seats. And going into this tier, you get the heads-up display. All you got to do is tick the power package, which it's just a little bit over $1,700. So when I'm considering base price at $4,700 and $500, give or take, I'm still under 50 grand if I just tick the box for that. And I'm getting a universal home remote. I'm getting memory seats. I'm getting the second and third row seat power. I'm getting the second row to get the home outlet, heated wiper pack. I mean, that's a lot of value all in one package. I don't know if I would option the panel moonroof, and this ebony twilight metallic is a premium color, so you have to pay more for that. But when you're thinking about safety, you have the safety alert seats, a telebeam, forward collision alert, forward distance indicator, rear park assist, blind zone, steering assist with front pedestrian and bicyclist braking. I mean, the list goes on and on. Reverse automatic braking, advanced adaptive cruise control, and we have optioned the super cruise control package, which that's over 3 grand. After the 3 years, you also have to pay a premium for that. So I don't know if I would option that, because you're already getting, with all of the safety, the cruise control. The drive to it, let's see how it is. It has the motivation. Suspension is good. You don't feel anything with 20-inch wheels. The seat cushions are also comfortable. It's wide. It doesn't really contour to my body like I would prefer, because I kind of like a little bit more of a sport bolstering, especially to contour against my back. So you will kind of slide here and there if you're taking some bends in the road. And this is not a dynamic vehicle, so you're not going to be doing that anyways. And you do have driving modes. I've engaged it in sport. It's not a sports car. Well, let's see how she goes. It's a pretty throaty 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. Putting it into tour, it doesn't really change anything with the pedal feel. So if you mash on the gas, it's going to be the same on either mode. Braking, it feels a little bit heavy, but for the most part, it does a good job there. And that's going to take me to some pros and cons, and starting off with the cons, because I've said a ton of pros. I wouldn't option the Super Cruise Control because you got to pay subscriptions to it. You have to go up the tier in order to get ventilated seats, leather wrapped seats. Otherwise, it's going to be leather wrapped throughout the trims. All trims get the same power option, but when you're in the ST, I kind of wish that they gave you a little bit more horsepower or more torque, so that way, hence ST Sport Touring. The sound deadening isn't bad, and you're getting 12 speakers standard through Bose, which is an awesome upgrade. And they do a good job carving out storage capacity, but then they're lacking on cup holders. There's a lot more firm materials, and when you're going luxury, you have to capture more soft materials. Normal driving, it's gonna feel long and it's gonna feel wide. The safety though reads everything around me, so I like that. If somebody's just gonna mash on the brake, it will alert you saying, you know what, you need to slow down, vibrate your seat, and the same thing with the blind spot monitoring. The steering is light, so you can maneuver in and out of lanes in traffic without too many issues, but it does have somewhat of a boaty feel to it. Turn radius at more or less a stop point. Longer vehicle than last year, about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. Because it's a Turbo 4, I just don't like how it feels. it is a refined vehicle, but I wish they would have changed the power option. But then the same aspect, I get it. The times we're in, plus why would you go Cadillac? Because the XT6 still offers a naturally aspirated V6. However, they haven't done the refresh yet for 2025. It's going to be 2026. Hopefully they do it, because it is a bit dated in the interior. Going back to competition, it's very hard to say anybody can outclass this with the technology that you're getting. Yes, it's a Buick, and I'm sure people are going to say in the comments, well, the other vehicles, they're better in performance. That is true in some aspects, but every car that's comparable to this, other than the Germans, is going to have less horsepower and torque. This is going to beat them. As well as towing capabilities, it's right on par with them. Payload, over 1,600 pounds. You can fit 7 occupants without any issues. The con to it, though, is your legs or knees will be sitting up in the air, and it doesn't matter which row you're sitting at, even in the driver's seat. The good thing, though, is the footwell area for the driver is pretty wide, so I can rest my legs against the door panel in this floating center cluster and relax for a longer journey. And because I have super cruise control, depending on where I'm at, if I can use it, I can't use it here, I can actually enjoy a longer journey with the sound cancellation, and they have added soundproofing around the engine bay to make it even more quiet. So Buick has definitely stepped their game up. Are they at the level of the Germans? Not quite yet. And they also need to increase that warranty in order to give me that luxury vibe and push, because otherwise it literally is going to be comparing against a Toyota, Honda, Nissan, in which this outclasses it. And that's where the problem lies. They have put themselves in an area where it should be luxury, but they're not giving us the full potential. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Coast Buick of Port Richey for giving us this 2025 Buick Enclave ST for our car review.